It was supposed to be a perfect family engagement. I'm Grace Carter, standing by, watching my sister laugh, when suddenly she paused. Her fiancé leaned in and whispered a cruel line. "She's just an admin." Nothing more. The words cut through the cheerful chatter like a knife. Guests giggled, some even snickering at the awkward tension. But I froze. My chest tightened, heart pounding, and my mind raced. Every smile around me suddenly felt hollow. I stayed silent, observing, trying to process the shock. Something had shifted in that moment, and I knew nothing would ever feel the same. But then, her fiancé said one sentence that changed everything. "I am Grace Carter, a woman who has always valued family above all else. Strong, respectable, and deeply devoted. I've built my life around love, trust, and loyalty. My family has been my anchor through every challenge. And I've always worked silently to protect the ones I care about." Today was no different. It was a celebration. A family engagement party meant to honor bonds, laughter, and shared happiness. My sister and I have shared a bond since childhood. From late-night secrets to small acts of kindness, we've always promised to have each other's backs. That connection has shaped who I am, teaching me patience, compassion, and the meaning of trust. Seeing her smile today, surrounded by friends and family, filled my heart with pride and joy. The house was alive with warmth. Music floated gently through the rooms. Tables were decorated with care, and balloons swayed lightly in the background. The aroma of freshly baked treats mingled with laughter and chatter. For a fleeting moment, everything felt perfect, a calm before the storm. A peaceful scene where joy and love seemed endless. Little did I know, this harmony was fragile, and the events about to unfold would shake everything I held dear. As the party continued, I noticed subtle shifts in my sister's behavior. Grace Carter observed her once familiar warmth replaced by a slightly sharper tone. Small smirks and teasing remarks that felt out of place. At first, I tried to dismiss them, thinking perhaps I was imagining things, but the pattern was undeniable. In front of the guests, she tossed light insults, clever little taunts that seemed playful to others but stung quietly. Each comment, each sly look, made the laughter around us feel hollow, as if it were masking something more serious. The bond we once shared seemed to flicker, replaced by distance that I could feel in my chest. I found myself questioning my perceptions. "Maybe I'm just as sensitive," I whispered internally, trying to convince myself that I was overreacting. Yet my gut told me otherwise. Every interaction carried an undercurrent of superiority, a quiet assertion of power that unsettled me. By the end of the night, unease had grown. The celebration's joy felt tinged with uncertainty, and I realized that appearances could be deceiving even in the people I trusted most. The moment Grace Carter's words landed, it felt as though the room had frozen. Laughter erupted around me, but it was sharp, cruel, a sound that cut deeper than I expected. Every smile, every polite conversation around me seemed hollow, a mask over the embarrassment and tension that now filled the space. I could feel my self-respect bruised, challenged in ways I hadn't imagined. The insult, public and biting, left a sting that refused to fade. Even the family members I had trusted seemed distant, some chuckling, others avoiding eye contact, as if nothing had happened. It was a stark realization. Even those closest to me could allow humiliation to unfold unchecked. A profound loneliness settled in, a quiet isolation that no party could mask. Yet, despite the shock and anger bubbling beneath the surface, I remained calm, holding back words and reactions. I reminded myself firmly, I stayed silent. But I was not weak. My silence was not submission, it was control. I would not let this moment define me. Strength was quiet, but it was mine, and I intended to wield it carefully. After the humiliation, my first instinct was to react, to defend myself, to confront them in front of everyone. But I stopped. I took a breath and made a clear decision. I would not give them that power. Emotional reactions only reveal weakness. Silence, I realized, was strength. Silence was control. I chose to watch instead of speak, to listen instead of accuse. My sister and her fiancé moved around confidently, unaware that every word, every glance, every careless comment was being noticed. I began observing them quietly, without suspicion, without anger on my face. That calm made them comfortable. Too comfortable. Patterns started to appear. Small lies that didn't match earlier stories. Smiles that faded too quickly. Side conversations that stopped the moment I entered the room. Nothing dramatic, just enough to reveal cracks beneath their perfect image. I didn't rush. I didn't confront. I collected moments, remembered details, and connected dots. Proof doesn't always come as evidence, it comes as consistency. And timing mattered more than truth itself. I knew one thing for sure when the moment came. Silence would speak louder than any argument ever could. As days passed, I noticed her fiancé becoming careless. The arrogance that once seemed so controlled began to slip. A smirk here, a dismissive comment there. A subtle lie that didn't match the story, tiny cracks, forming in his carefully constructed image. Overconfidence had made him blind. I, Grace Carter, felt my own confidence returning. The fear and shock that had clouded my mind were gone. My voice, my presence, and my awareness grew stronger. I realized that control isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet, measured presence that shifts the balance. Conversations that once intimidated me became opportunities to assert subtle authority. I observed the room, the interactions, and the reactions. My calm demeanor contrasted sharply with his growing unease. Slowly, others began noticing it, to the tension, the hesitation, the unspoken acknowledgement of change. The power dynamics were tilting. The one who had tried to dominate, to humiliate, now faltered under the weight of his own arrogance. Each misstep fueled my resolve. The stage was set. The momentum was shifting, and I knew the final confrontation was drawing near. The day of the next family gathering arrived. I, Grace Carter, remained calm, every movement deliberate, my heart steady. Around me, the laughter and chatter of guests carried on. Unaware of the storm about to unfold, her fiancé walked in, confident as ever, unaware that the quiet, composed woman he had underestimated was ready. I waited for the perfect moment. Then I spoke. Slowly, clearly, with deliberate precision. I laid out everything: messages, subtle lies, excuses, every act of disrespect he had tried to hide. The evidence spoke louder than any argument. Gasps rippled through the room. Faces turned toward him, disbelief spreading. His confident smirk faltered, twitching at the edges. Words failed him. His arrogance, carefully cultivated to intimidate and charm, crumbled under the weight of truth. My sister stood frozen, shock evident in her eyes. The room fell silent. The power had shifted completely. The one who had attempted to humiliate, dominate, and control was now powerless, exposed before everyone. Silence had worked better than anger or confrontation. Justice had been served, naturally and undeniably. The balance of authority had finally returned to me. After the confrontation, a quiet calm settled over my world. I, Grace Carter, finally felt the weight of betrayal lift from my shoulders. The chaos, humiliation, and lingering tension that had clouded the celebration faded slowly, replaced by a serene sense of control and clarity. I reclaimed my voice, my space, and my confidence, reminding myself that my self-respect could never be taken, only maintained. Freedom from deception brought a renewed perspective. I no longer questioned my instincts, nor allowed the past to dictate my emotions. The lessons of patience, careful observation, and courage had strengthened me beyond measure. My family, my sister, and I could now share moments of genuine joy again, untainted by fear, lies, or betrayal. Life felt lighter, simpler, and brighter. I
walked with my head high, stronger and wiser, carrying the knowledge that even pain can shape resilience. Trust in myself had been restored, and my inner strength grew with every step forward. Though the journey had been painful, I emerged empowered. I had learned the value of patience, clarity, and standing firm. Life would continue, but I would face it with courage and grace. Did this story shock you? Hit like if it did. Subscribe now for more dramatic revenge and betrayal stories. And comment below, what would you do if you were in Jessica's place? We want to hear your story.